When I think about joy, the first thing that comes to mind is that feeling you get when the first snowdrop comes up in the spring, or a great big flicker lands on your bird feeder, or an old college friend you haven't seen for years comes to visit. But joy goes deeper than that, and it's hard to put into words, although Paul and Stacy have been doing so beautifully through this sermon series, as they do through the living of their lives, and as we seek to do together as a church.
What does together for joy mean to me? First, the word together. Our church represents a community. We listen to each other, we help one another, we are set together and celebrate together. This does not mean that all of us come from similar backgrounds, look the same, or share the same opinions. But here I know that all of us will be heard, respected, and supported. Together also means that there is not us and them. We are reminded all the time here that we are not only a community with those of you who sit in these pews, but also with people across the globe.
What brings us the most joy at First Baptist is the community. There is nothing more important than community. Whether we interpret it spiritually as the way we express and receive God's love in the world, or we see it as a way that we find ourselves and help shape and serve one another. When we first moved to Ann Arbor, we struggled to find a church that spoke to our pasts and our presents, a place that valued Scripture while reading it with fresh eyes, a place that fulfilled us spiritually and intellectually as adults, and that also prioritized fulfilling those needs in our kids. First Baptist represents the reconciliation of so many differences, of beliefs, of generations, of traditions, of styles, of ideas, and of identities. And after all, that's what community is all about.
What brings me most joy in this church? Watching my children grow up surrounded by people who truly care. From them running as toddlers to hug Paul and Stacy, to listening to them about their experiences in the youth group, I know that you all are helping them get closer to God.
Joy is called in the Bible no less than a fruit of the Spirit of God. And I loved Paul's telling of the story of Joy to the World, that beloved Christmas carol we sing, but that is not just a carol for Christmas. It's a song, it's a call for all time. It's a deep down knowing that we belong, that we are loved, no matter what. And it's really critical to know and to have and to grow that joy, not just in the good times, but when times are hard.
Stacy, as much as I do not like Facebook, you made me yearn for your messages, your optimism and faith, your ability to care so much about each one of us when you are in such a challenging situation have transformed all of us who know you. Every time I see you, I'm filled with joy and gratitude for knowing you.
So, what does it mean to repeat the sounding joy? How does that show up in our lives? I think it's very much about becoming a beloved community, and every one of us can make our own contribution. Richard Rohr lists some of them, and these are the ones that get to me especially. You don't need to be right. You don't need to compare. Be content with what is. Don't think the future needs to be better than today. Accept yourself, warts and all. Find God in all things. One really important way that shows is in the practice of giving. There are lots of ways to give, including financially. There's always a tendency to put church giving in terms of making budgets and balancing them. But this is so much more.
We find joy in giving because it's one central way of being part of this community. Our time, energy, and funds all contribute to the work of serving others and remind us regularly that we too are part of the life of this church.
Our church supports the causes that I truly, truly believe in. I have the privilege to listen to two amazing pastors. I'm tempted to clap every single time I hear a choir performance. I'm grateful for children's ministries that make my two teenagers want to get out of bed for church. And Alex still tells me stories about the amazing time he had in Nicaragua. I am so grateful to be part of this community and to see all of you in person. You all fill my heart with joy.
This is a spiritual practice we do that somehow grows and multiplies the joy within us in good days and hard ones, because we are the beloved ones of God and one another. Repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy.
After so many months apart, it's good to be back in physical community together, because this has been a hard year, and we are reminded each week that even when things continue to be hard, being together in rest, in hope, in fear, or in pain still means we are together for joy.